If the first rebuttal is that can you reduce the price, then the first question I would ask is, okay, we can talk about the price, but can you help me understand what is important for you? I don't want to negotiate on quality because that's an important factor for you and it's an important factor for me as well. I don't want to deliver subpar work. In project management, there is something known as an iron triangle, where the central entity is quality. On one side, there is cost, then there is scope, and then there is time. So the essential factor is that it has three constraints when you're delivering a project which is of a specified quality, which is why it's an central identity. When clients are negotiating for price, this is what we put into action. So for example, if someone is asking for let's say a reduced price, then for the price to reduce, these three factors will also need to change, because cost is just one element of this golden triangle, right? So if this we have to change, then these two factors will also change. Now how it plays is, if quality is consistent, if the cost is going down, that would mean that either time will go up or the scope will go down. Okay? If someone is asking, okay, I want a reduced pricing and I want the same sort of scope, then you have to explain that then the timeline of the project will increase. If it's a, let's say, 2-year development project where it's a entire app that they have to build. Now, if a project manager or a product manager comes to you and says, okay, I have to do this in 1 year, that basically means that then you'll double the number of people to execute the same amount of work, right? So that means the cost will increase a lot. The second alternative is, if the same people have to do 2 saal ka kaam in 1 year, then the scope will have to change a lot. They can't execute the double the amount of work in the similar timeline. Now let's understand this with several cases and how you explain it to the client. When you get started and when you explain the pricing, it's essential for you to also explain how the project will function, right? You have now divided the project into several milestones. Each milestone has a set of deliverables. Now, each one of these milestones has some time associated with them. This is what you have laid out for the client. So now you'll explain, okay, I don't want to negotiate on quality because that's an important factor for you and it's an important factor for me as well. I don't want to deliver subpar work for this XYZ project, right? Since quality is consistent, we have three factors that we can play with: the cost, the scope, and the timeline. For this to change, you'll have to tell me what is the most essential factor for you. When do you need this project by? Is timeline a very strict constraint for you? Then they'll tell you, okay, so let's talk about time. If the time is now consistent, that essentially means that there is a limited amount of scope that can be done in that time. X is the scope. So X scope in this amount of time we have to do, then there is a Y cost to it. Now, the client wants to make the time as consistent, but they want X plus 10 as scope. So subsequently, the cost will need to increase because either you'll have to invest double the amount of time to execute it, or maybe you'll have to add another person to work with you to get it done. So you add cost Y plus whatever this factor of 10 is. It could be anything, right? This has to remain consistent. Similarly, I'll explain this one also. Now client wants the scope to be consistent. Uske liye cost hai X, timeline hai Y. Now the client wants this to be done in X minus 5, whatever the 5 is. So that means the time will increase to the factor of 5, whatever that factor of 5 is. It could be 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, whatever, X, Y, Z. Because to deliver the same scope of work with a reduced pricing, something will have to sacrifice. And lastly, cost wala to bahut straightforward hai. Cost is consistent, so for X scope and Y time. Now, if they want to reduce the time, Y minus something, then the scope will also need to reduce. Similarly, if they want to increase the scope, then the time will also increase. It's very directly proportional. Talk to them about quality, then talk to them what is more important for you. Is it the time, the quality, or what are you optimizing for? If they have a limited timeline and a limited budget, then tell them what are the most essential elements in the scope that you need. Then deliverables pe negotiate karo. Okay, right now maybe you don't need these 10 things. Just get 5 of them right now, and maybe in phase 2 we can do this. If they are flexible with the timeline, then tell them, okay, don't restrict me with these 2 weeks. Give me 5 weeks.
Do you go towards time first, or do you ask to negotiate on the scope first?
So it really boils down to each specific client. If the first rebuttal is that can you reduce the price, then the first question I would ask is, okay, we can talk about the price, but can you help me understand what is important for you? Is it a specific X time, or is it quality, or is it this scope? What is most important for you? There'll be some people who will be like everything is important, which doesn't help anyone. But you have to tell them that you have to pick one. If you need this done in 2 months, so now you know that time to locked in hai, right? Then whatever is left in the ratio, so cost per negotiation ho rahi hai, to scope pe hi bacha hai fir sirf. Then you come to the question, okay, what is the most essential factors that you need this in these 2 months? Chances are mostly people are doing a lot more than what is actually needed. I can do it for a reduced cost. Let's only do this part first. In the second phase, I can give you more discount. Then we can discuss that. Offer A, B, and C. So generally, tiered pricing strategy works when you have to give like options to the clients. Now price negotiation, one is that you're explaining all of this, but one strategy is when you present proposals, you can present it in a pricing of 3, jiske andar the most likely option generally is the middle tier. So this is your actual price. How you make it work is, one, you lowball so that the client doesn't outrightly rejects you. So let's say the starting offer would be like $700. You know this is your minimum price. Ispe bhi aayega to le sakte ho. It won't be like a loss to you, but this would also mean that the client doesn't reject you right away if they are expecting a lower price. So that it's a low ball offer. The pricing B is generally your ideal price. So this could be $1,700, whatever it is. And this could be a premium price, $3,500. Now the essence is, in this tier, even if they choose this, then you give them a lot of value in this tier. In this tier, you give the bare bone things. Like, I'll take the branding wala example. In this tier, what I would give would be a basic mood board, 3 logos, 2 revisions, and maybe a basic brand guide. This is my baseline offer. Iske andar I will give a complete art direction. Here it was a basic mood board. Here I'm giving a complete art direction. Here I will give 5 logos, 3 revisions. I'll give a detailed brand guide, and I will give 3 collaterals. Similarly, in this one, I will give even a lot more. Maybe I will give a website UI along with it. If you can do it, of course, it depends upon each person. Maybe I will add packaging to it. Maybe I'll say that this tier is most relevant for rebranding projects, right? Because rebranding stakes are higher, more complication. This could be a starter offer. What you're trying to sell is the middle offer, and these are like anchoring. So you're anchoring the price at 3,500 here, and the lowest price is 700. And of course, if nothing works, then you can simply ask, like, you can also ask this question, that what is the budget that you are looking for? And let's say the pricing is a lot lower than even this, let's say $300, $400. Then my suggestion would be, you refer them to someone that you know of that can still deliver quality work as a gesture of goodwill, so that if in future, if they want to go ahead with a bigger project, they come back to you in future. So be honest, be transparent. That's the essence of negotiation. If you're sly, if you become too salesy, then you're losing the client anyways. Yeah.